I am in Japan, and you're watching my Rumble in the Ruins for our guided adventure for this month. My name is Guy, and I'm climbing Mount Inari, and you need to join me because, well, quite frankly, it's all about going to the right toilet at the right time. I'm on Mount Inari in Japan. It is a sacred mountain that is truly remarkable. This is a hub of protection against dark forces, of demons, ogres, orcs, trolls within Japanese mythology. It's an absolutely mind-blowing place. Inari, the god of harvest, this mountain was claimed by the god when in 711 AD, which is when this place was formed, a local lord threw a rice ball onto the mountain. From the rice ball emerged a swan, and as a result the mountain has forever been seen as the home of the god of rice and protecting harvests and the like. Why are there these foxes everywhere, or kitsune, as you'll learn more about them in today's video? The foxes are seen as the messenger of the gods that live here, and the messenger of Inari in particular. Often they're seen around rice paddies, and you're going to find out in a little bit why the fox really needs to use the toilet in order to successfully serve their god. But more on that later. We've got to climb to the top. There are over 10,000 torii, which are those orange archways that you can see behind me. There are so many of them, as a matter of fact, that most parts of this mountain, it looks like they are a solid wooden tunnel. That's how close they are together. But what is the function of these gates? Well, one of the functions is to keep out dark or demonic forces. They act as the gatehouse, if you will, keeping forces of evil out and forces of good in. With 10,000 of them, that's a lot of evil that you're keeping out. But just what is the evil? Well, the evil creatures that permeate mythology in Japan are numerous, and some of them are uniquely weird. And just as the foxes need to use the toilet, there are some demons that you need to make sure you're using the right color toilet paper in order to avoid them from taking you out. But more on that a little bit later. We've got to continue climbing. So behind me is a graveyard of sorts on Mount Inari. It is here, it is protected from the dark forces that lurk without the mountain. And there are many dark forces. There are the yokai, which could be animals, anthropomorphic creatures, inanimate objects. A scroll could be inhabited by a yokai and then it would attack the reader of the scroll, for example. There's the Akuma, and the Akuma are more like demons and devils, truly evil beings, and we're going to talk more about them in a little bit. And then there are the Oni, the giant, hairy, ogre, troll, or orc-like beings that are also wandering around trying to get to the dead. Now, once you're dead, you get taken into the underworld where there is an Akuma who removes your clothes or your skin, and those are weighed up to see where you go in the afterlife. So foxes, very, very important things. If you look at the shrine behind me, you'll see there's foxes everywhere. For example, here we have the two foxes with the scroll, the message in its mouth. And then we have the torii protecting the interred from those dark forces. So when we are talking about foxes, why are foxes so important? Why do foxes have such relevance? Remember, we're talking about it's important where the fox goes in terms of its ablutions. Well, fox urine is a huge detractor for rats. And so what the locals do is they take rocks covered in fox urine and they litter them around the rice fields, which prevents rats from attacking the rice and thus protecting the harvest. It raises some questions as to who is the poor person running around with a rock waiting for a fox to look as if he needs to go, and then bringing the rock back. But that's a different story altogether. Foxes are then divided into two categories. The helpful kind, those that will oblige you when you have a rock handy, and then the malicious kind, those that are more likely to throw rocks at you. These are the Kitsune, the spirit-infested foxes. And they can shapeshift. They have multiple tails. The more tails, the older the Kitsune, the wiser it is, the stronger it is. They can possess people. They can do all kinds of things, really, because they are seen as these little additions to the god realm. Foxes are pretty amazing things. So, toilets. If I said the name Akuma to you, what would you think? What would you guess? If you guessed toilet paper, well, I don't know where your mind is, but you would be right. Akuma was one of these horrific Akama running around trying to get into Mount Inari to traumatize the priests. Well, as a matter of fact, to execute the priests in the most horrific way you can possibly imagine. This particular demon would hide in toilets, and once you were finished, it would offer you red toilet paper or blue toilet paper. Depending on your choice, well, depended on how you died. If you chose red toilet paper, well, you were simply flayed alive in the toilet. Choosing blue is not going to help you either, because then Akuma would simply strangle you to death with the toilet paper. Lovely things, demons. Although I suppose at least it's better than finishing up and finding someone holding a rock.
We couldn't actually film at the top of Mount Inari, but the view is absolutely spectacular. However, there is more to Japan than just Mount Inari, so once again we hopped onto the local train and headed out to Nara. Nara features the largest wooden building on the planet. It's truly massive, and again, no photography there, I'm afraid. However, it does feature a rather curious curator, a deer. These deer bow before you give them deer cookies, which are part of their diet. They are healthy and thriving thoroughly. So we should then board the Shinkansen, or the bullet train. These monsters travel at up to 150 miles per hour, crisscrossing Japan in hours. It's an interesting idea, this super fast travel, but also for so many people. These trains literally run every 10 minutes, crisscrossing from Kyoto to Osaka to Tokyo. Just spectacular. So the train took us past Mount Fuji, which was beautiful on the day, and then we decided to head to hell. This is Mount Hakone, and the natural gases and superheated water bubble to the surface of this active volcano. The stench is truly horrific, and you can completely understand where the Japanese concept came from of these horrific beings that invade your toilets. There just is no way to describe the aroma that permeates this place. And it's an otherworldly experience, the beauty of the Japanese forests, and then suddenly this yellow blasted landscape that reeks of sulfur and is just, it's so surreal. And it doesn't stop, it just bubbles and boils away. There is the ever-present threat of doom upon this mountain. Is this something that we could add in? Mount Inari itself doesn't have anything like this, but it certainly does have some thermal pools. These occur throughout Japan, thanks to the sheer number of volcanoes that exist on the island. It is an intriguing concept that we could potentially add. But we leave the sulphurous gases and return to the top of Mount Inari, where we are bid hello and farewell by yet another fox wearing a red bib and carrying a message to the gods.
That's it from Mount Inari. The last of the spirits that we can talk about are the Zujin, the protectors of these Torii gates. They would ward off whatever was trying to get in, toilet-wise and everything else included. Like them, though, they used to hit the like button frequently, and so should you. Anyway, until next time when we start designing a map based on Mount Inari for our whatever adventure we come up with from this amazing experience here in Japan, all I can say is I wish you and yours the happiest of adventure creation.